This week is really critical because we really have a good idea now of just how much the market has shifted in the past 14 weeks. So let's take a look at what that means for you. And I've got 5 key points here that I want to share with you that I think are really important and will help kind of get your head wrapped around what's happening. Hi everyone, I'm Connie Colla, your Scottsdale Realtor and the owner of the Connie Colla Group at RETSY, a partner of Forbes Global Properties. So the first is that the seller's market is no longer a frenzy. So we're not, sending rockets to Mars anymore. We're still in a very hot market, but we're not in a chaotic, crazy, anything goes market. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, after 2 years, it means that for many people, it's probably starting to feel a little more normal. And that's good news for buyers who actually have an opportunity now to get into a house, spend a little bit of time, have some deep thought before they have to throw an offer out there. It's a good sign right now that things are not quite so crazy. Okay, second thing is the inventory is changing. So there's been a significant surge in the number of new listings on the market in the last 2 months. We're up about 12% from May to June of last year when you compare the two. And I think sellers really were fearing that, wow, we're at the top of the market now. I better get this house on the market, try to capitalize on what I can, and sell this thing before the market turns. And so we've seen an increase. Now, we're still way behind on where we should be for this time of the year in a normal market. So it is still a seller's market. We're still low on inventory, but a couple things are changing because we're seeing more inventory and because buyers are taking a little bit longer now with those higher interest rates to think about that increased price of a purchase. So the average days on market, that's my third point, are actually becoming longer. So it was where maybe in March, April, May, we had about 8 days on market. Now in June, we started to see 12 days on market. Now, when you figure we only had 8 to begin with, to go to 12, that's another third. That's a pretty long amount of time. It shows that the market is really starting to change. Not back to the old days where maybe we were on the market for 30 days, but 12 is pretty significant. Again, it's giving time for people to get into a house, take a look at it again, put together a decent offer, and then submit it and not feel like it's so crazy you have to throw everything and the kitchen sink into your offer. Okay, so the fourth thing that's happening are price increases and price decreases. Okay, Connie, so how do we have both of those? What does that really mean? Well, in the last 2 months, we've seen a huge spike in listing price reductions. So while the market has started to change as of really kind of the middle of March, when our first interest rate hike started, things started to slow down, and all those homes that were on the market at that time at a crazy price, right? They realized, okay, it's taking longer for things to sell, more homes are coming on the market, the interest rates are going higher, and people are becoming more cautious in their purchase. So that crazy to the moon price that we put on the house maybe isn't going to make it happen. So those sale prices, original list prices have come down to a more reasonable list price. Now, in the meantime, people who weren't on the market and haven't had to come down are starting to calculate, what's the price that I really should price my home at to be at the top of the market, but not overshoot and get my home sold for the highest price in the least amount of time so I hold value. And those people are starting to take a look at what's happening in the market in their neighborhood. So maybe their neighbor sold for $950, they're going to put it on at $960, $975, and it does sell there because that's a reasonable price span. So we're not seeing prices go backwards. We're seeing prices continue to move forward, but slower than they were before and in a more realistic fashion. Does that make sense? So are we still seeing homes go for over asking? And the answer is yes, when the house is priced at a reasonable market value, and even the top and maybe a little bit more than the top, as I just noted, okay? So in April, 57% of the time, we did see homes sell for over asking. Now in June, that's dropped down to 47% of the time, so it's dropped 10% in the last 2 months. And I expect that number will continue to soften just a little bit as the market starts to soften. However, think about this. almost 50% of the time, right? 47% of the time, we are still seeing homes selling for over asking. So again, not a frenzy for the seller's market right now, a hot market for the seller's market. Still seeing small increases in price, and we're still seeing almost 50% of the time where a home will sell for over asking. Okay. The fifth thing that I like to look at is the Cromford Market Index. Now, I know that you have seen me talk about this before. So 100 and up is the seller's market, 100 below the buyer's market. So at the height of the market, we were at 515. That was huge. And we've slowly started coming back. So Phoenix right now is at 210. Not 100, not a balanced market, 210. So we're still a hot seller's market, but not a crazy frenzy of a seller's market, okay? But it is the lowest that it's been since June of 2020. So we're starting to cool off. That's another sign. Buckeye, I hate to tell you, you are the lowest at 131, the closest to a balanced market of anybody in the valley right now. And that is you're the closest, right, at this point. But Buckeye, oh my gosh, look how much is going to come with what's happening out there in the West Valley. So hang on, you're still in a seller's market. It all still looks good. Okay, Fountain Hills, congratulations. You are the hottest market in the valley right now, and you are at 306. So you're doing really, really well. However, you're still down more than 25% from last month. So everybody is starting to cool. Scottsdale, you're at 280. That's down 33% from last month. In fact, the entire market right now is down at least 25%, closer to that 100%, the balanced market, than they were just last month. So again, we're really starting to see things cool off. The biggest question people ask is, well, are the prices going to go backwards, right? Are we going to start to see prices reduced, come down? Just off those crazy high prices that we already had on the market, and from agents who maybe are not telling you realistically, where your house can sell. But no, I think we're going to continue to see small incremental prices to go up because we still have such a huge demand here in the market. People are coming into the valley like crazy, and because we still don't have a lot of inventory. Okay. Let's talk about mortgage applications. So after several weeks of significant less demand, right, less people taking out a mortgage as they kind of cool their jets just a little bit to decide, okay, what's going to happen here with the interest rates? Are they going to go up again? Are they going to go up again? People, I think, are starting to get used to the fact that you're not going to get a 3% or a 4% or 4.5% or maybe even a 5% or 5.5% mortgage at this point. You got to jump in. It's like double Dutch rope, right? The house prices are slowly going up, not as fast as they were, but interest rates are really going up. And the cost of borrowing that money is making the price of the home you can afford less. For the sellers, know that the buyers are starting to get a little bit of their power back here, right? As we get closer to 100, becoming a little bit more of a balanced market, we need a lot more inventory on the market. We don't have a lot out there, so your demand for price is still high. But the buyers aren't going to have to throw everything in the kitchen sink at us anymore. So if they put a really good offer in on price and it seems to be fairly clean, and yes, they want a home inspection, but maybe they're not going to ask for a lot of repairs, we have to kind of meet in the middle on a few of those things. Still, you're in the driver's seat, sellers, but buyers are starting to get a little bit more power back. Okay? All right, that's it for now. I'm Connie Colla, your Scottsdale Realtor with the Connie Colla Group. And remember, your home is one of your largest assets, and who you work with matters. So if you have any questions about this ever-shifting market, now is the time to reach out and ask some questions. I am always here for you. You can call me or email me anytime. Have a great day.